could teach you how to sauce it. I've been smoking heat and sipping oil like it's olive. I've been getting money, pockets fatter.
Hey people, it's Ashley, and this is Let's Talk Recovery Houston. So, super excited about today. It's going to be really fun, and I'm forcing Everette to participate in my shenanigans. The small business shout out is this company. It's called Clean Cause. It's an organic energy drink. I've never tasted an organic energy drink, but we're going to try it. And it's super cool because the founder of the company actually is one of us. He's in recovery, and 50% of the sales of the product go to supporting people in recovery. You can actually go to their website and fill out a scholarship request form, and they will help people pay for like sober livings and that stuff. And I think that's super cool. So the flavors that we have here today, a blackberry, a lemon lime. I think there's a peach, right?
Peach, yeah.
Yeah, a peach and a raspberry. This is the only ones I could find at HEB, but they have like a watermelon mint and like an orange ginger. They have them online. So we're going to try them and see what they taste like. Which one you want to go for?
Blackberry, for
Blackberry?
sure.
Okay, you take that one. I'm going to try the peach. Okay, you ready?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah? Well, I just feel like jacked up at the end of the podcast.
They don't affect, energy drinks don't affect me. It's pretty good. It's light. It's more like...
It is light.
It's like a sparkling water.
Yeah, that's really actually what it tastes like. Okay. Definitely not like... Oh, yeah. No, that's good. That's cool. Okay, awesome. So check them out. We'll have info and like bios and places. That's pretty cool. So I convinced Mr. Everette to come and hang out with us today. Just because, so I've never really heard a lot of his story, but like we've been friends on Facebook for a while, and I've like seen him have like a good year. COVID was actually good to him. And he's just kind of like, he's involved in a lot of stuff. So he does music, and he just got his real estate license. And he's been sober for 5 years, which I think is really awesome. And so, Mr. Everette, that is all you, my friend. How have you been?
Ma'am. I've been really good. You know, it's kind of like everyone else is having a bad year with the COVID and with the police brutality and all that stuff. And I mean, this year has been really good to me. Like, as you said, I just got my real estate license and doing commercial real estate with TIG. And, yeah, it's been treating me pretty well.
And so you've been sober for 5 years.
Mm-hmm.
What was it like before you got sober?
So, like, it started at a really early age, like...
Because I didn't know the Everette before.
Yeah, I was always, like, super ADHD. Like, I had to take all these Adderall, like, all this medication just so I could sit still. And, like, before I even got high, like, knew of drugs, I heard of, like, snorting, like... sniffing Sharpies, like I was doing that type of thing. I wanted to get high before I even knew what drugs were. So eventually, you know, inevitably, I got a hold of like marijuana and started smoking cigarettes and doing hood rat stuff with my friends. But I started smoking weed, and luckily my parents got me into like a alternative peer group called Teen and Family. Shout out Teen and Family. And that worked really well for me. Like I stayed sober all of high school. Up until like May of 2012, I was, you know, I could go to parties and hang out with my friends, but I knew I don't do that stuff anymore. And then sadly, my senior year, I kind of had this feeling like I stopped going to meetings, and they were like, you've been in this program for too long, that's what leads you. So I started drinking and like going to parties like that, and I ended up on probation. You know, I did like 4 years of probation for some stupid stuff, but yeah, so it's been I'm lucky that I got in that program, because that set the stones, like, hey, you can be sober, you've done this before, you know the program, you know the 12 steps, and just helped me along and get sober later.
And so when you got sober again, did you go to rehab or anything? Or
no, I've never been to like rehab. When I went I got sober 5 years ago. I got sent to sober living Houston, and I didn't really have a choice. Like I didn't have money, and I was so like my drug of choice was spice. So I was really like messed up off that stuff. Like I didn't even know my personality. I didn't know who I was anymore, and like my brain just wasn't functioning like it used to. So I just didn't have the option. Like I was like stuck there. My mental health was an issue as well. So I was dealing with a lot, and eventually I had like a year sober, and I was like, hey, like, oh, I already have a year sober. I can keep doing this. So I'm lucky that my dad sent me to sober living because I'd still be on and off spice.
Yeah, and that
If
stuff's terrible. That
Yeah,
was my DOC for a really long time, and
yeah,
that
it's
stuff's
so bad.
terrible. So what did you do? How long were you at Sober Living Houston? Like a
I was
year?
there. Me and Clay were there like the longest. We were both there for like 3.5 years when I left. And most people are there like for like 6 months to a year.
Yeah.
So it was like we were there for a long time. But yeah,
Okay, so you left Sober Living Houston, and you had a pretty cool apartment because I've seen that on Facebook, like the hot tub and
yeah,
stuff in
I
it.
had the bachelor pad, man. When I was like 25, when you're 25 and you get your first apartment, like you got to get a hot tub. That's how I felt. I was like, I got to get a hot tub inside and neon lights all around and a projector and all this stuff.
Is
But
that when you started like working on music, or was it before that?
so I started renting a room when I moved out of sober living with this guy in Montrose, and I just downloaded like an auto tune app. I was like, oh, I just want to play with this auto tune app, and I recorded something and sent it to my rest in peace. I sent it to my best friend David, and he was like, oh, you're killing the game, bro. You got to keep going. So I was like, okay, I'll record a whole song, and I recorded the whole song, and he encouraged me so much. I was like, okay, so I stuck with it, and I've been making music for like a year and a half now.
What's that like? Is it hard? Um, like maybe being around, because you're a rapper,
Uh,
right? Like, so that genre kind of promotes, right? Like drinking and like
exactly.
smoking weed. And so is it hard? Because I know you've gone to clubs and stuff.
Yeah.
So is it hard to be in those kinds of environments when you liked
Not at
weed
all.
before
Like,
and still be sober?
not at all. I'm trained that way. Like when I got sober when I was 13, I don't encourage it like unless you're ready, but um I was going to parties and I was like the token sober guy. Everyone knew I was sober and they loved it. So I'm used to like being around it, and as long as my recovery is good and like my mindset is right where I'm like not looking to do drugs, I'm usually all right.
I asked somebody, I saw him one time, I saw a picture on Facebook and it was like you in a hot tub with this like mojito, right?
Oh
It was
yeah, I
Shantae.
like
And I
virgin.
was like, how is he sober when he's drinking? And he's like, no, it's like a virgin
Yeah.
mojito. And I was like, what? Like, how, what is that? Like lime juice?
It's like a cucumber, lime juice, mint, and like a sweetener.
Yeah, so do you pretty much have luck getting virgin drinks wherever you go? Is that like a
Yeah,
thing? You're like testing bartenders in
I
Houston?
get a lot of like virgin drinks. They just kind of they assume you're the designated driver, so they just give them you for free, really.
There you go.
So if you feel like you're ready, I mean, virgin drinks are great. I support it. I mean, it encourages
That's pretty awesome.
that you can. Yeah.
Um, so we talked about it a little bit before when we were just hanging out, and I think it's really important, and I stress it all the time that like mental health and addiction usually go hand in hand,
Mhm.
right? And a lot of people usually will have like an underlying mental health that they try to like self medicate. Um, and so, what was that like for you? Because that's something that you've struggled with.
Yeah. So it started like I'd say like 2014. Um, I had always wanted to do like acid or like shrooms and stuff like that ever since I was really young. So I finally got a hold of some, and you can't trust like acid at all, like especially nowadays because it's a like research chemical and like made in a lab and it's not regulated. Like people don't know what they're doing making it. So yeah, I took like 3 hits and it was too much, and I smoked spice while I was doing that somehow, and it triggered my mental health like right away. Like that, I started having paranoia and delusions and hearing voices, and like I just remember I was driving the first time it got like really bad when I first did it was like I was driving around and I was hearing voices and the voices were and I was like literally like having delusions of like street signs were like talking to me. I was hearing thoughts from street signs and like I thought everyone was out to get me. I thought people were trying to kill me. So I was crying and drove home and I was like I got home and there was a cop there waiting for me and my dad took me to like St. Joseph's mental health center and that was the first time I was on medication and I went to Methodist from there and Methodist was really good. Like only thing is I gain a lot of weight when I they have like really
They feed you really
they
good.
feed you like straight starch. Like the starch just blows you up. But that was the first time like I got medicated and realized I had mental health issues. Yeah.
So do you think it was caused from the drugs?
Absolutely, yeah. Yeah, I had no like anything ever. It was just I was normal. And then I took a bunch of acid and smoked spice for a month. And I was incredibly delusional. I was paranoid, delusional, hearing voices.
Dude, and that happens. Like, so there's a friend of our family's that really, like, super smart guy, he was like a Air Force pilot, got wrapped up in some stuff afterwards, and was kind of like, he was hanging out with people cooking meth.
Yeah.
And kind of was like this guinea pig for them. And I mean, within like a very short amount of time, he ended up having like drug-induced schizophrenia from the drugs, and still to this day has to be on like medication. So yeah, it's like it's serious. So no, that's good that I think it's good though that like you're willing to go get help and stuff. You know what I mean? Because some people won't. Like some people are like, no, like I'm fine, nothing's wrong with me. You know what I mean? So my hats are off to you for that. So tell us some fun stories.
Okay.
Let's do some fun stories.
What do you want? Like, you don't want drug stories, do you?
Yeah, like they're like, yeah, let's do. Okay, we could do a couple fun drug stories.
All right. Well,
this is what not to do if you're trying to get sober.
Yeah, my what not to do with drugs started at an early. I was like 13 or like something like that, and we used to walk and go inside like the tube in my neighborhood. It was like a sewer tube, with like the Ninja Turtles, and we go inside there and like smoke weed and stuff. And one time, it was like in public school, you go to like a Texas trip and like a Washington D.C. trip in 8th grade. So before the trip, one night we all went and like I walked at like 3 a.m. all the way from like one side of town to another through a trail, and we ended up smoking weed and stuff. And then like it was really sketchy. On my way back, I saw like a guy in like a trench coat on the trail. Like I just ignored it. I just went home, but I started doing really sketchy stuff, and like it's not healthy when I'm doing drugs. I just don't have the best judgment. I just
I think that's all
whatever it takes. Do whatever it takes to get high.
So let's go back because I'm a really big advocator for like breaking the stigma of addiction, right? Which at the same time makes me kind of clash with the principles of AA, right? And like anonymity. I think anonymity is important, but I think to break the stigma of addiction, like the general public needs to see that addiction doesn't discriminate. You know what I mean? You come from a good family.
For sure.
Right?
Yeah.
Like, so what do you think, because your parents aren't addicts. They're normies, right?
No, I have no addicts. I have like my uncle, but that's it.
That's it? So what was going on like when you first started using drugs? Because you didn't grow up around addiction and addicts, and you come from a good family, good part of town.
They say like weed's a gateway drug or whatever. Cigarettes were like my gateway because like I was like 12 and certain people around me were smoking cigarettes and like they got me into it. And the same people that are smoking cigarettes when you're 13 are the same ones that are going to go smoke weed and like get into drugs most of the time. So it was just the people I was hanging around with and my desire to hallucinate.
So what's your family like now? So is your dad super supportive?
Yeah, my
Happy?
dad.
I bet you he's like real happy you've like gotten it together.
Yeah, my dad's finally like. I'm not gonna say he wasn't proud of me before, but he's like super proud of me now. He's been very helpful, like with my mental health, and um, really supportive with my real estate, and he just keeps me on track. You know, when I have mental health things, like he helps get me help and helps get me medicated, which I'm really grateful for. Because if I wasn't medicated, I wouldn't I'm not able to function when like I'm having an episode. I can't like go to work. I can't drive. I'm like handicapped by it.
Um, I totally forgot what I was gonna say. Oh, so did your dad ever take the time to get educated on addiction?
Yeah. So when I
Because
was
some families don't, you know what I mean? They're just like,
yeah
whatever, like it's their problem, like fix them, and
no like
don't ever really take the time to figure out.
they caught it early for sure. I was 13 and in the eighth grade, and right when I graduated eighth grade, they put me in. I was just smoking weed really, but they wanted to catch it early before I started doing other drugs, which I would have done. And they put me in a program called Teen and Family, which is like an alternative peer group. And at first I was like, oh, I'm in rehab, rehab's for quitters, whatever. But I ended up loving it. Like everyone who was in that program loved it, and they genuinely wanted to be there. And it was fun. Like we'd hang out with each other, like go out all night and like drink coffee and smoke cigarettes, which was fun at the time. And but we'd go on retreats, we'd go on trips, we'd go to Colorado, went to Arizona snowboarding, and just a lot of bonding and like cool people that have like similar interests.
So would you say that it's important for people in the program to learn to have fun in the program?
Absolutely,
And
that's the
not
only.
think that like, oh my gosh, this is so boring.
I
Because
wouldn't
when
be
you're
sober.
living at a sober living, it can seem very like,
Yeah.
this sucks, this isn't fun.
Yeah. So that's the only thing that keeps me sober is like having. Like I feel like I should go to more meetings, but what keeps me sober is like getting my life on track and like having my priorities straight and still being able to go on trips and have fun, go to California, go to Colorado every year and stuff like that because it just keeps me like, oh, my life is good. Like I don't need to do drugs.
What's the funnest thing you've done since you've been sober?
Um,
Besides driving around fancy cars that make me jealous when I'm watching Facebook.
no, I go to Colorado every year. I go skiing. I brought Christian. You know Christian Rainbow?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I brought Christian with me like 2 years ago. We go to Breckenridge and snowboard and go eat crepes and drink coffee and smoke cigars and go play in the snow. So that's always fun. I haven't been this year. I'm hoping to go in a month or two. I just got back from California in July, so I went to San Diego and played with seals. Looked at the sunset off like a 400-foot cliff over the ocean.
Dude, that's cool.
Every day at sunset, I'd go to Black's Beach, which is like a nudist beach, but you can't see it because there's a cliff. So I'd sit on the top of the cliff and watch the sunset and like smoke cigars. Go out to eat and get coffee. Like, I'm a big coffee drinker. Coffee it pops up a lot. But yeah, I just like going on trips and like, you know, my life is pretty good.
So what's music life look like? Because we talked about that's like we have like the music Everett, and then we have the real estate Everett,
Yeah,
right?
I have
So
like
those are
three
kind of
alternate.
weird, right? Like we have to make sure those don't clash. So
Yeah.
what's music Everett like?
So music me is like, I don't know, like so I have like different groups of friends. I have like my friends from high school that like I stay in touch with, and then I have real estate friends and my boss and people like that, and then I have my music friends, which is like boss. Shout out to Bossway, shout out to Diamond Boys, all them. But people that support my music are just some people I met when I was working at Johnny Dang's, like um, and even like certain Houston rappers. I know a couple Houston rappers, and I mean, I don't know. My music, I just don't have time to like do it anymore. But it's one of my favorite things, so it's kind of like a paradox. I'm so busy with work. I get home from work, I'm tired. I don't want to go to the studio. But then again, when I'm at the studio and I get a finished product like of a song and I love it, it's like the best feeling ever. I can listen to it whenever I want. I can show people and like
Which is pretty
I
cool.
just like I like sharing my music.
That's
So
pretty awesome. And we'll have some links to that and stuff.
yeah.
It's gonna be cool. So then COVID. Okay, let's say in a ideal world, if you did have the time for both, um, would you do both?
Yeah,
Like if
I've
there was
been
48 hours in a day instead of 24?
yeah, I mean, I have a song I'm working on that I always record on my headphones just to like get the melody down and the lyrics, so I don't spend like 5 hours in the studio and it ends up being like $300. So I get it done first. So I have one on my headphones I recorded that I'm working on. I've been meaning to go to the studio. Like, hopefully I'll go this coming week, like after work or something. Find the energy somehow.
Yeah.
Comfy.
So
But
what's work like?
work is awesome.
Isn't it hard? Isn't like being a real estate
It is
person
hard.
hard?
It's hard to start out. Once you have your network and your clients and people like a network who can give referrals and stuff, it's a lot easier. But
How do you network during COVID? What does that look like? Like a lot of virtual stuff?
you
Zoom?
so once I don't know if you've ever seen the movie Glenn Ross.
No, I haven't.
It's with Alec Baldwin and like Al Pacino. It's about commercial real estate agents. And so Alec Baldwin comes in, he's sent, and he's like, "Oh, I'm on a mission of mercy," and he like fires all the guys, and he's like, "You have 1 week to get your job back, and you have to do cold calls starting with tonight's sit." Which a cold call is like, you call on the phone. I go in person. I just go to like industrial warehouses. I really focus on industrial. So I go to industrial buildings and I'm like, "Hey, my name's Everett. I work with TIG. I'd love to help you get like with your next lease, or if you want to expand or consolidate, if you want to buy, I'd love to give you my services." And I do that like 50 times a week. And out of that 50 times, I get like 1 or 2 clients.
That's what's up.
So there's a lot of cold calls. Like after lunch, I get to work at like 10 a.m., 9 a.m. I follow up with people and like go get lunch. And after lunch, I get to leave and do like an hour or two of cold calls. And then
Yeah,
I'm
I
done.
call a lot working here. I make a
Yeah.
lot of phone calls, and a lot of them are like that.
So, yeah, it's like my life is like a little bit of everything, you know, a little bit of real estate. I try to balance it out.
Okay. So 5 years sober. Do we have a girlfriend?
No,
No?
not-
Don't have time for that?
no. I've been dating, but like, I don't know.
How do you date during a pandemic? Is that like
I mean, I wear a mask like pretty much.
everywhere?
Yeah, well, at least wear it like when I walk in and walk out like I'm supposed to. If I'm eating or something, I'm not gonna wear it. But when I go out to like hookah bars, which I do a lot, I wear it, and then when I'm hitting the hookah, I don't wear it, and then I put it back on. But yeah, I mean, it's fun, you know. I don't know if I'm ready for like another relationship yet. I'm still working on some stuff with me and God. Like I'm still working some stuff out. But I believe when I'm ready, God will send someone who fits my needs.
Yeah, that's awesome. I believe that too. Just make sure she's not like a gold digger or something. I'll have to
Well, I'm
like
not
beat her
really-
up, right?
I'm not
Like
But yeah, I don't want to give out the wrong. If I changed my Tinder, I used to be like when I was like a rapper heavy, I was like flexing, like with my grilling in my pictures, like in nice cars and shit. And like the girls that came around were like, "Where my Gucci shoes?"
You're like at the store.
I'm like, "At the store. Where's your wallet?" So I changed my like Tinder and my Facebook dating to like shit that's more about me. Like, oh, I like to travel and I like dogs and the beach and mountains and shit like that. And it's been working out a little better. Like the girls that come around are not asking me for money.
Yeah, that's always a good day, right?
Yeah.
So, what have you thought about COVID? Has COVID affected you?
Yeah, like I had it. I had it
Me
like
too, yay.
I had it like a month or two ago. And I mean it wasn't it
Did you have a lot of symptoms from it, or were you asymptomatic?
I had a cough. I had like a pneumonia type cough for like 3 weeks. And I don't know, I have a really strong immune system. So all I had was the cough, and like it wasn't like if I had to have that cough for a year, it wouldn't be a big deal. It's just like, you know, I cough and it makes a sound. But I know for a lot of people, like especially older people, that it really affects them like in a super negative way. So I was just lucky I didn't have to get hospitalized or anything. My family, like my mom and dad, are like when I go visit them, like stay 6 feet away, put your mask on. So it's like, I don't know. I don't want to get it again. I don't want to take my chances. So I've been wearing the mask.
Wearing the mask.
Yeah.
Yeah, I have too. It sucks though.
Yeah.
Like going up to the hospital or whatever to visit Lucas and stuff. Oh my gosh. Like every time it's you have to fill out this questionnaire and they have to like take your temperature and it's like wearing masks. So for like the whole first 6 weeks getting to see Lucas, like I don't even think he knew what I looked like because I always had this stupid mask
Wow.
on. You know what I mean? Like I never
Yeah.
really got to see him without a face mask on. Um, so yeah, COVID's just been crazy. Does COVID affect real estate? Has it affected real estate? Like it has, you
I
know, like
think it
restaurants
affects,
and bars and stuff
yeah.
like that.
So I mainly do like industrial, which is like warehouses or basically business buildings that have like a loading dock. Isn't basically industrial.
Oh, we need that for
So
real.
yeah, a lot of like there's always opportunity popping up. So like a lot of people open like hand sanitizer factories or like shit like that. So there's always opportunity, but it does like slow stuff down a little bit. So it's tough getting started. I'll say that.
Do you think if you were trying to get sober during a pandemic where you couldn't go to in-person meetings, you would be able to get sober?
I think if I had a peer group around me that was a positive peer group, and I had the support and stuff like that, I think I would. But I would definitely need to like already know like the basics.
Like
I,
have
I
some
wouldn't just be
knowledge?
able to like not know anything about recovery and just like stay sober. I'd have to have like a sponsor and like a peer group around me that was in my best interest.
So do you think COVID has maybe hurt the recovery community?
I do. Like, I wanted to go to a meeting so bad. This was like 3 weeks ago, or no, 3 months ago. And there was no in-person meetings, and I couldn't find a meeting. So I just Zoomed one, but it wasn't the same. Like, you don't get to, like, shake hands and like, really talk face to face with people. It's kind of like
The whole fellowship
the
of it,
whole
right?
fellowship
Yeah.
is a little thrown off. So I think it really does affect recovery a lot. I didn't know, like, before I heard about Zoom, I was like, what are the recovery people gonna do? Like, they can't go to meetings. It's gonna be horrible.
Yeah, that's what I thought too at first.
Yeah, I was like, poor
Because
them.
I don't like I've been to some Zoom meetings and I am not a fan of them. Maybe because I Zoom a lot and do that kind of stuff at work. Some people really like them, but I'm like you. I really like the fellowship
Yeah,
of meetings, like the getting to hang out like before
yeah,
or after a meeting and like see
exactly.
people. Like that's probably honestly my favorite part of a meeting.
Yeah, I like meetings when like I decide to go. I don't like being forced to go to a meeting by anyone. Like I won't get anything from it. I won't enjoy it. But that's what sobriety is all about. Making you're doing it for you. Like you want to go to a meeting, then that's you feeling positive enough inside and like being on the right track enough to take the initiative to go to a meeting. That's what's keeping you sober, and the meeting and the fellowship. But that positive like desire is what really keeps me sober a lot.
Dude, that's awesome. I
Yeah.
love this. Um, so what advice? Do you have any advice for people that maybe are struggling with like getting sober or sometimes people struggle I think with staying sober,
Yeah.
right? Like I got some text from someone that I hadn't heard from in a long time the other day and this person was like, "Dude, I really want to use."
Hmm.
And I was just like, "Oh shit." You know what I mean? I was like, "Okay, first off, that's a terrible idea." And it just surprises me sometimes when I see people that seem like they have good recovery that all
Yeah.
of a sudden want to go like test the waters again. And I'm like, why? Why would you do that? So, what advice would you give to maybe people in that situation or people that maybe stumbled across this podcast somehow and are just like, oh, maybe I should get into recovery?
I mean, you gotta have fun. You gotta like build. For me, like it wasn't about like okay, I just instead of doing drugs, I just go to meetings. I had to change my life. Like I had to live a new life. Like there's old Everett, which like I remember and like I know what he's like. But then there's me with this new life and like completely new friends and new everything and new life. So my life is just consists of different things and I have different goals and I do different positive things. Like I like, as I said, I like going on trips and traveling, and I didn't have that before. Before it was like me in my dad's garage smoking spice after like delivering pizza or like some job I had, And that was like my whole thing. I'd be at work. I'd be, oh, 20 minutes till I get to go smoke spice. And like now I have like real goals. And that doesn't even sound good to me. I don't want to smoke spice anymore.
Yeah, no joke.
Luckily, thank God.
Do you think that's important for people in recovery to like, when you're coming into recovery, to have goals, right? Because
Exactly.
it sounds super cliche, like, oh yeah, make a list
Well,
of your
yeah.
goals and this and that, but it really does help,
I mean,
right?
follow your dreams. Like, I know it's not like the biggest like money making profession, but my parents would go look at houses when I lived in Arizona, and I was like, they'd call it like, okay, we're going real estating, and like we'd go look at houses, and that was my favorite thing to do, is go and like be in an open house and like, oh, this is our new house, whatever. So I wanted to be a real estate agent. Like I wanted to be in residential originally because that, um, and then like you never know who you're gonna meet too. Like I Uber sometimes. I've been Ubering for like 3 years, and I got my job out of the Uber. Like I Ubered this guy. He's like, "What do you do besides Uber?" And I was like, "Oh, I'm in real estate school. I'm about to get my license." He put me in contact with his cousin, and his cousin met up with me. He liked me. I told him I was in recovery, and he admired that about me, and he gave me the job, and I've been working there for like a month and a
Okay,
half.
so that's an awesome story. You got
Yeah,
your job through Ubering and just talking to the person you were.
yeah. So I talked to his cousin, and his cousin was like, it's a lot of you get like, I believe in karma. Like so, he was talking to like someone for like 10 minutes or something, and I waited because I always wait, and he appreciated that. So he's like, I'm gonna get you this job. I'm gonna get you this job. So I mean, I believe if you do good things come to you. And
What's that like Ubering? Is that weird? Is that a weird thing? Do you get a lot of
I
weirdos
like it. Like
in your
it's not like
car?
work to me. If
Do
I'm
you
in the
do it like
mood,
late at night, or is it
yeah,
just, yeah?
yeah. So that
Okay,
was
so
that
what's the
was
weirdest thing that's happened while you're Ubering?
people like having sex in my car. um, this guy was like,
I love it. That got everyone's attention in this room.
I don't know if you've seen the Dave Chappelle skit with Wayne Brady, and Dave Chappelle or Wayne Brady's like, hold on, I gotta get some money, and he pulls up to the prostitute, and he's like, that happened to me. The dude was like, hold on, bro, I gotta check someone real quick. So he got out the car and was like in this dude's face. He's like, he checked him and like got back in the car, and I was like, okay, you ready? He pulled a Wayne Brady on me.
That's funny.
Yeah.
So do you talk to your Uber
Yeah, I
drivers?
don't like when they don't talk to me. I'm like, I'm a person too. You can talk to me.
Okay, see, I don't know what the rules of Ubering are. Like, 'cause I used to have to, when I first got back to Houston, Uber to like some places, and I always sat in the back, right? And it's funny. I was taking this class, and it was actually across the street from where the immigration department is in Houston. And my Uber came, and I went to get into the back, and he was very nice. He was Jamaican. I went to get into the back seat, and he was like, "No, come sit in the front."
Um,
And I was like, "Okay, is
I
that a
would do that.
thing?"
Yeah.
I was like, "Okay." So I sit in the front, and I think he thought I had been in the immigration building because he was just like, "Are you okay?" And I was just like, "Yeah, I'm fine."
Yeah.
And he was like, "I hate immigration." He's like, "Aren't they assholes?" And I was just like, "Oh my gosh." Like it was just this weird, like I didn't even know what to say, type thing. So is it okay to sit in the front seat of Ubers?
Yeah, I've had like, I like it like when people like take interest in me and they ask me questions when I'm Ubering, because it entertains me and it gives me something to like think about while I'm driving. So yeah, I don't mind it at all. Like some people do sit in the front and like become friends with me. Like, what's up, bro? Like we become friends. I have friends I met at the Uber. Like I have a good friend. This this girl named Hannah. I met her. I Ubered her one day, and like now, every like a couple times a week we go out to a hookah bar and like hang out. She introduces me to all her friends, and we
Does
just
she make
chill.
you drive but not as an Uber? Is she using you
No,
for free Ubers?
well, sometimes, yeah. So my door had been broken. Like, my front right door was broken because like I got it back from BMW and they gave it to me broken. So she sits in the she's been sitting in the back, so it's like when we first met again.
That's
But
funny.
yeah, I have like a couple of friends I've actually met Ubering. Every Halloween, like it started last year. On Halloween, I was Ubering, and like I met some people, and they invited me out with them. So I try to like Uber on Halloween just to like meet random people to go out with, just for like fun.
That's
So I
cool.
could go out with my friends, but like it's like a tradition at this point, just to like find random people and see if I can have fun, hang
Okay,
out
so
with
did
them.
you Uber last night
I did,
dressed as
I
Jesus?
did, yeah. I dressed as Jesus, and I gave like a couple free rides out. I was like, as much as I could afford to do. But yeah, and then I ended up going with the Bossway guys and had a good dinner and a little bit of a party. Just hung out.
That's awesome. So what else you got for me today, Mr. Everett?
Um,
What else you want to talk about?
um, I don't know.
You don't know?
You can come up with something.
I can come up with something. He's like, you do it. You come up with something. Um, so we're gonna do his music will be the intro today, right? So that's gonna be cool. So we'll have the links because you're on YouTube, right?
Yeah.
So we'll have all the fun links to that so you can check out Everett. Do you have a bunch of likes and followers on YouTube?
No, I don't promote anything. I don't put any money into it, and I just have it on there so I can like show people. I'm not like, I'm serious about my music, but I'm not like at the point where I have enough money to be successful, because there's a lot of money that goes into promotion and getting. I mean, you can be like the baby and get no features and just blow up and be the best ever. But I feel like features are kind of important. Like if you have a feature from.
Are you on TikTok?
No, I don't. I'm not like.
Do you have a
enough.
TikTok?
I don't have a TikTok.
You do not have a TikTok. I have a TikTok. Does anyone in this room besides me have a TikTok? No. No, it's freaking hilarious. No, but there's like you could do music on TikTok.
That's
You
what
would
my
be
friend-
very surprised the things that catch on TikTok.
My friend Poria was telling me like, oh, you can't go to like World Star. You gotta go through TikTok now. And I was like, okay, like make me a TikTok and I'll put you on my song. We can do it.
Seriously? I don't know. I guess I should. I mean, there's the Ocean Spray guy.
So from my impression of it is like it's a lot of dances and like.
It is. So there's like dancing. There's like dancing and like lots of things with pets. I found some like health and wellness ones finally because I never search. Like you can search for stuff, but I usually just whatever's like in my little. I just swipe up. But there's this freaking guy who's like famous right now for skateboarding while drinking Ocean Spray cranberry juice.
Dogface.
Yes, see, you knew who it was, and you don't even have a TikTok.
Yeah, I saw him on I follow him on Instagram.
See?
He's got a vibe. He's famous because he's got a killer ass vibe. He's
Like-
just like jamming with the cranberry juice. Do you know they gave him like a whole truck?
Yeah, I
and,
saw
like,
that.
filled with cranberry juice.
Yeah, and it's like a thing. Everyone now is like hanging
Yeah.
out, drinking cranberry juice, skateboarding.
I've been doing that since a while ago.
Yeah, you're like, dang,
didn't
I
film
should have filmed it.
Yeah,
So yeah, you should put some music on TikTok. You never know.
I will. I can get the features though. I just needed the money. That's why I really got into real estate so soon. I was like, I just need like $10,000 and some features and get like some ads going and promotion. Maybe get on World Star. I had an offer to get on World Star, but I didn't have the money. So
I have no idea what that is. So
World
explain to
Star
me what
hip
that
hop
is.
is like. It's like trying to think of like a metaphor. World Star hip hop is like ESPN for like hip hop.
Really?
Yeah. So they have all the news and like new artists and major artists in the news with like Gucci Man just signed someone to his label or like something
Wow.
like that, and then like they have a bunch of music on there. Like you can find a lot of like up and coming people on there. So if you get put on World Star, they have like millions of followers. So it's one way to like one avenue to blow up, but
Wow.
it takes a lot of money. That's
Have
why
you always liked hip hop music? Has that always been your
Yeah.
thing? Like,
I remember I was like 6 or like 7 or 8, and I was like jamming 50 Cent and like Eminem. That was my like growing up. And then I moved to Houston, and like rap was like a big thing in Houston, and it was like the SUC and Swish the House. I got introduced to all them, and like SPM and like Zero and Paul Wall and Lil Flip and like people like that. I grew up listening to.
that's awesome.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool. I bet your parents loved that, didn't they?
Yeah, they're like, whatever. And now my parents support my rap. They just don't want me to like put too much money into it. Like, I got this.
No, that's how I am
But
with
I'm like that too. I'm hesitant. I'm like,
that's how I am with Aiden.
yeah.
Aiden's really like he's very smart when it comes to music, and like at one point like that was his big dream, right? He was like, I'm gonna get out of high school and I'm gonna like move to California and like
Mm.
become famous. And I'm like, you should probably have a backup plan.
Yeah, that's why.
And he's like, why? You don't think I'm good enough? And I'm like, no, but like it's good to have a backup plan because
Yeah,
like it's hard. Like music is hard.
it really is. It's so competitive. There's so many different people that are good, have talent. Like there's a lot of talented people. A lot of it's about who you know and promotion. Um, they say you gotta, and it takes a while to like master. You want to release yourself when you're the best you can possibly be. So they say it takes 10,000 hours in the studio to like really master your craft.
Wow.
I've only probably spent like 1,000 in the studio. I have like 200 songs, but I only have.
That's a lot of songs.
I'm a perfectionist, so I only have 3 or 4 I'm gonna use on my album, and I probably won't end up. I'll probably just make a couple of new ones and like just put in the coming year and use those.
Wow, that's a lot of songs.
Yeah, I'm very much perfectionist.
So, well, this was fun. Did y'all have fun?
I had fun.
This is fun. I never get to talk to y'all. I'm always like talking to the other person.
It's a new setup. Like,
Yeah,
maybe,
it is.
Maybe the viewers can show us or tell us like how they like it.
Yeah, this is a new setup. So we moved out of the conference room, made it more personable. So that's cool. I'm gonna have to like get new shoes if we're gonna keep doing it this way or something. I just got my beat up Chucks on. Look, see, and he's wearing fancy shoes. I'll have to get like I'll have to get like fancy podcast shoes.
I kicked my tire.
Did you?
It's got a scuff on
You're
it.
like, dang it.
Yeah, but they're cheap.
So this was fun. I'm happy that we could do this with Everett. Do you have fun?
I had a lot of fun. Yeah.
He's like, whatever. No, I just want to get out of here. Cool. So, couple things. I really want to, real quick, give another shout out to all the nurses at the NICU up at Memorial Hermann. They were super awesome. I don't know how they do what they do. Like that's hard work, like dealing with like little tiny babies all the time. That would stress me out. But shout out to all of Lucas's nurses because he really did have a bunch of great ones. That now I'm gonna kind of miss seeing, you know what I mean? Because I've gotten in this routine of like going to the hospital, and now I'm like, dang, like I'm not gonna get to see these people. So yeah, I had to give back my badge yesterday. I can't steal hospitalized anymore because that was a thing. And yeah, so Lucas is here. Somebody was like, when are you putting him on the podcast? He will probably make an appearance at some point. We'll like hold him up or something. But there's lots of pictures on my personal Facebook page. Yeah, be like, we should. That'll be fun. So yeah, super just excited to finally have him home and that everything's good with that. You know, because none of what's been going on with me would be possible if I wasn't sober. Like at all.
Same.
You know, if I wasn't sober before having Lucas, I don't think I would have been able to deal with the whole craziness of like having a NICU baby and that kind of stuff. And shout out to my sister, she just had her baby, and it's good. So yeah, it's been exciting. We have some really cool guests coming on this month. He got to start it out. Everett was my starter, and then I've got the Gordon Ramsay recovery doctors that will be Skyping in next week, Dr. Rob. So that's going to be exciting.
You want to see my alter ego?
Yes, show me.
Okay.
Everett's going to show us his alter ego. Look, he brought his grill. Do those hurt? No?
It's like having a retainer.
Hmm.
But that doesn't like get too tight.
You have to get it fitted like someone, right?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, see that's.
I sat on the bottom one because I put it in this little Johnny Dang pouch, and I sat on it and like it bended because gold's really soft. So I have to like push it like this one. I got to get it melted down.
Is that the only one you have?
Yeah, I had another one. It was like Louis Vuitton print, identical, except it was yellow gold, and I lost it at like, I can't remember I lost it, but yeah, I ended up getting this one like 6 months ago.
Right, you should have just worn those the whole time.
Well, he was trying to be professional, so this is your alter ego, Everett.
This is Lil Ev.
This is Little
the
Ev.
rapper.
Little Ev the rapper. I love
What's
it.
up? What's up with it?
Do you want to do a rap or anything before we close out? Or you just want to make people listen to what I get to pull off your YouTube?
I mean, if you can get a beat, I can freestyle.
Oh, I don't know how to do that.
I can freestyle to a dolphin and a tambourine.
Are you trying to get us something? Yeah, okay. Cause I'm like, I don't know anything.
I'm a little rusty. I haven't freestyled as much, but I should be alright.
These are very interesting. I don't know how I really feel about the peach now that I've drank half of it. It's interesting, but it's a good cause. It's good. It's ads. We'll bleep that part out unless Google Fi wants to pay me. No, I'm just joking.
Okay. I'll do a short one. Hey, what's the deal? My name's Lil Ev. Used to drive the candy painted bright orange shell. Now I'm in the Beamer and I'm doing real estate things. Coming down slow, not smoking green. I don't drink liquor and I don't drink. Coming down slow, purple of the pink. That's the fucking drink and it's called clean. Blackberry boy, all up on my scene. All up on the grind and I'm all up on my shit. I gotta bleep
That's
myself
good.
out.
That was
I gotta
fun.
do edits.
Yay, that was good.
I don't want to curse too, like 2%.
No, that was good. Now we can like hit them up and be like, "This is who should be doing
This is
your
your theme song
commercials." Dude, that was awesome. This was so much fun. Dang, this was fun. I'm happy that we were able to finally make this happen. Yep. So, check us out on Facebook, Spotify, iTunes, Google Podcasts. I think that's it. Oh, and shout out to Transformations for letting me use this space, like always. And then again, we'll have some links for Everett stuff in our places and this stuff. And yeah, that's all we have for today. Bye.